Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about that. Now you see it, now you don't. 3 minutes of testimony by Donald Trump in the E. Jean Carroll case today. Now, this is my just sort of reverse engineering from the little bit we saw, what I think happened. Perhaps a transcript will come out or a report that has more detail. Perhaps I'll be off in certain respects, but this is, I think, gonna hold up in the main strokes. And everyone's certainly, scratching their head saying, what the hell? So, let me give you my thoughts. Okay. So first, the output, the 3 minutes. You had basically Haba announcing, Trump's going to the stand. Then she asked him, basically, did he know about the first trial and did he stand by the deposition he gave then? And he said 100%. She asked, did he defame her in order to damage her in any way? He said no, and then added the reasons he did in a very sort of bare bones way. He said, I was doing it to protect myself and my family and the presidency. Which drew an objection that the judge sustained, told the jury to disregard everything but the answer. Haba tried again. She said, I have a right to go to intent, and asked him why he was doing this. And did he mean to inflict damage on her? And he said, no, and started to speak. Objection sustained. And then on cross, basically, Roberta Kaplan, who could have, left Trump's viscera all over the courtroom floor, but I think this had been well arranged in advance, just got him to affirm that, he had known about the previous trial. And then Haba tried something short on redirect that didn't fly, and that was the end. So here's so a very, very quick and cryptic, 90 seconds. So one more thing that I think helps us interpret what happened. On the way out, Trump is grumbling. He's angry at the judge, and he says something like, what a country. Okay. Here's what I think happened. Kaplan was determined to keep Trump from testifying to irrelevant evidence and information. And that means in particular, anything about whether he assaulted her, raped her even under the terms that the jury is going to be told, and then defamed her by lying about it, because that has already been decided at the first trial. And Trump, on the other hand, was determined or very eager to try to give his campaign speech, which we can be pretty sure what it consists of, because he, among other things, he defames her and redefames her and redefames her. So he wanted to be able to say, I've never even met this woman and don't know what it's all about. And this is all kind of trumped up, et cetera. But that is precisely going to the kind of thing he maybe could have said in the first trial, but not now. But I think that so the judge very prudently had the parties come to him before Trump would take the stand. This was at the lunch break started while the jury is still sequestered, and they talked it through. And I think Haba said, probably at Trump's insistence, he wants to be able to explain what his intent was. Does he want to say that he's probably, the judge asked, that he didn't do this? Yes. And here's what he wants to say. And so he wanted to say that, and the judge didn't want him to. A, didn't want the trial turning into a circus, and B, just as a matter of straightforward relevance, didn't want things coming in that don't have a bearing on any issue that's actually in play, because one issue that's not in play is whether he raped her and lied about it. That's already been decided. Now, I think I think he wanted to say that, and the judge was, didn't want him to. It was having none of it. And the judge, the boss of the judge of his courtroom, and in this case, Judge Kaplan, an effective and hard one, won. And said, no, okay, look, he actually, I think, gave him a smidgen more than he needed to. He said, if Trump wants to say that he stands by his deposition, which is what he did in the first trial. And the deposition certainly includes disclaimers about knowing E. Jean Carroll in the first place. And when he can do that because the deposition is now in evidence and he can affirm. Now, I don't even think that. He could have said that goes to the merits, it's irrelevant, but I think that was his way, Kaplan's way, of not creating an issue on appeal. So if Trump wants to say that, but that is all he's going to say. Do we understand each other? And, Haba had to say, yes, Your Honor. And then turning to Kaplan, then they wanted to be sure that Kaplan wouldn't completely cut Trump to ribbons. And cross-examination. She might have, because even the cross-examination should only go to the actual areas that of evidence and testimony. And here, basically, his whole testimony was, I stand by my deposition. One's lies are always in play, and Trump has scores and scores and scores of them. So, without a sort of advance kind of specification of ground rules, maybe that could have happened. But basically the court said, okay, look, I will let him say he stands by his deposition. The deposition does include, in fact, his saying, he never raped her, never met her, etc. So that, in a way, permits him to say that, the denials that he wants to, but that's it. He's not going to, right now, intent isn't at issue. Anything he did isn't an issue. And so he's not going to be able to. Do we all understand that? Yes, Your Honor. Is he going to stay to those rules, Ms. Haba? Yes, Your Honor. And they then go in front of the jury and, she puts him on, and she even then, maybe because she's being a little sneaky, maybe because Trump wants her to, maybe because she's, not fully on understanding, but she probably does. Maybe just, wants to take the chance, pushes on it a little bit more and gets shut down immediately. That's the real importance, by the way. I think this is the general lesson for judges to take, is to set these ground rules in advance. So as soon as Trump or his counsel begin to violate them, you can say objection sustained and shut him down. Now, it's good it worked out that way, because if he'd have just kept talking and shouted over the judge, the judge could hold him in contempt. The judge could call a mistrial, but all these things are, in some ways you could see as playing into Trump's hands. So anyway, Trump is limited. He's muzzled, except to say, I endorse everything that's in my deposition, which the parties can talk about tomorrow. Of course, they played some of it today. It's not very good for him all in all, and it includes his mistaking E. Jean Carroll for Marla Maples, which seems to put the lie to the notion that she's not his type. And it includes his boasting about his great fortune, which ain't going to be good when it comes time to argue about what level of punitive damages are necessary. As Kaplan told the jury in opening statement, this guy's a billionaire and he's incorrigible. What's it going to take to make him stop? And to the extent Trump has been exaggerating his personal fortune, too bad. This is going to go to the jury. Now, the jury did see this little back and forth and had a couple instances where they heard from Kaplan, disregard where everything he says after yes, disregard everything he says after no. Will the jury disregard it? Nah. But I think the jury mainly will scratch its head about this whole 2-minute theater piece, which is what it was. I don't think it will impress them very much. The only substance you can take from it is that he stands by his deposition. What else are you supposed to think at this point? And, that there maybe something went on behind the scenes before, but we're not exactly sure what it is. And I think it'll just get kind of lost in the overall kind of, run of the trial, which tomorrow, Friday, moves to closing arguments. And then that's it. So Trump's little kind of bizarre 3 minutes is the last witness for the defense. And then we'll go to closing argument, and then I'll be in the jury's hands. And Carroll's asked for $10 million in compensatory damages and up to 100 or more on punitives. We'll see. I think that's where the action will really be. But I think that's what happened today with his non-testimony testimony. I was on MSNBC shortly after, and someone commented that we never thought this day would come. And I said, and I think accurately, the day didn't really come. It was just a little set piece where he takes the stand and says, I stand by my deposition. that is next to nothing. Doesn't hurt them, doesn't help them, and mainly just focuses the jury, to the extent they're focused, on the deposition itself, which ain't great for him overall. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.